Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on Tuesday, the 4th of July. As always, we bring you the news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Ashwin Berry. In the news tonight, the General Manager of Namibia Training Authority, Tobias Nambala, announced the kickoff of the 2023 TVET Graduate Survey, which was held earlier today at the NTA head office. The second National TVET Graduate Survey is a groundbreaking survey effort stated in a Memorandum of Understanding between respective schools. The survey seeks to give useful information about the quality of TVET programs provided by registered and authorized providers in Namibia and South Africa. It began today, 4th of July, and will end in August on the 11th.
So this information is essential in ensuring that our graduates are equipped with the necessary skills and competencies to thrive in their chosen fields. Furthermore, the survey seeks to obtain data on the transition of graduates into the labor market. We want to understand how effectively our graduates can find gainful employment or create self-employment opportunities that are directly related to their training. By identifying the challenges faced by both the unemployed and the employed, we can address the barriers and create a more supportive environment for our graduates. The survey also aims to gauge the perception of TVET among our graduates. We want to understand their views and experiences, both positive and negative, to continuously improve the TVET system. By listening to our graduates, we can adapt and refine our programs to ensure that they meet the evolving needs of our industry and provide opportunities for personal growth and professional growth. Lastly, the survey endeavors to establish the employment rates of our TVET graduates, not only in the formal sector, but also in the informal sector. This comprehensive understanding of their employment outcomes allows us to evaluate the effectiveness of our efforts and make an informed policy decisions that strengthen the VET sector and enhances the prospects of our graduates. It is worth noting that in 2019, the NTA conducted the first national graduate survey, which shed light on the employment status of graduates from the 2015 to the 2017 cohort. While the findings revealed both successes and areas of improvement, we recognize the importance of continuing our research efforts to ensure that we stay current with the needs and challenges faced by our graduates. Therefore, I am proud to announce that the second National Graduate Survey is commencing today, and it will run until August the 11th this year. The Research and Planning Division of the NTA is spearheading this project, working diligently to collect data from the employed, the unemployed, and the self-employed graduates from credible TVET registered institutions.
The University of Namibia and the Association of African Universities hosted the official opening of the 22nd Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors and Presidents of African Universities 2023. The conference will take place from 4 to 7 July. COREVIP is a significant gathering of top leaders in African universities focusing on fostering collaboration, knowledge sharing and addressing critical issues in higher education across the continent. Namibian dignitaries also received recognition awards for playing a vital role in uplifting education in Namibia.
Namibia is honored to have been chosen through our premier university, UNAM, to host the 23rd 2023 Association of African Universities Conference of Vice Chancellors, Rectors, and Presidents of African Universities. Nations' higher education systems are the seeds of knowledge creation, skills development, new inventions through research and innovation, and through appropriately harnessing new emerging technologies. It is not a sheer coincidence that Africa's universities leadership is converging here in Windhoek, Namibia, at a time when humanity and the world need urgent answers to rising geopolitical tensions, rapid adverse effects of climate change, how best to embrace the fourth and fifth industrial revolution in the face of the pros and cons of AI, and in the face of the problem of youth unemployment, and in particular, graduates unemployment. Some of the challenges are, of course, human trafficking, drug abuse, and issues of inequality. I can go on and on. The African Agenda 2063 strategies on education dovetail to the Global Education 2030 program that contributes to the achievement of Goal 4 of the Sustainable Development Goals that calls for inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong learning opportunities for all. The Continental Education Strategy for Africa calls for the paradigm shift towards transformative education and training systems to meet the knowledge, competencies, skills, research, innovation, and creativity required to nurture the African core values and promote sustainable development.
The central bank says it will continue piling pressure on banks operating in Namibia to abide by the country's banking laws around shareholding in order to ensure that decision-making is done locally by Namibians. Johannes Kawasab said this on the sidelines after meeting with President Hage Geingob at State House yesterday, just days after Finance Minister Ipumbushimi tabled the banking institutions bill in the National Assembly that aims to, amongst others, limit foreign ownership in commercial banks. We want a banking system and sector that works for Namibia, whereby decision-making is centralized and happening in Namibia, the central bank head said. We have a situation where credit extended to households and small and medium enterprises is pretty low. We want credit decisions to be taken in Namibia by people the BON has authorized. That's why we want to change the law so that we are able to take credit for the decisions in the country, the governor said. Former Namibia University of Science and Technology Council chairperson Florette Nakusera, who vacated her seat under a cloud of controversy last week, says the institution faces mayhem if critical governance shortcomings are not addressed. She also warned that harmony between the council and management members will not be attained if both parties do not adhere to the regulations that govern the institution. The Nakusera-led council's term came to an end last Friday amid fierce bickering between council members over an array of governance-related issues at the country's second largest tertiary institution. In her exit report submitted to Higher Education Minister Dr. Ita Kanji Murangi, Nakusera said the separation of roles between management and council must be clearly outlined to avoid institutional mayhem. The Zimbabwean couple who are on trial for the murder of the man's 9-year-old daughter, who allegedly fatally assaulted her and then threw her body in a rubbish bin, appeared in the High Court this morning. The late Akundaishe Natalie Chipomo's biological mother was also charged with her murder at a later stage, and the state has now applied for the two cases to be merged. Chipomo's mother, Rachel Kureva, her father, Edward Nkata, and stepmother, Caroline Nkata, allegedly threw her body into a rubbish bin in Windhoek North, whereafter they allegedly set it on fire. All three accused appeared today before Judge Philanda Christian. In our Story of the Day segment, Professor Shilizi Marwala, rector of the United Nations University in Japan, paid a courtesy call to the president.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 115.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
Professor Shilizi Marwala, rector of the United Nations University in Japan, paid a courtesy call on His Excellency the President Dr. Hage Geingob yesterday at the State House, among others, to appraise the President on his strategic focus areas since assuming office and to highlight opportunities to deepen strategic cooperation between the UN University and member states with a focus on greater inclusion of the Global South. Professor Marwala also shared the contributions of the UN University towards the Summit of the Future, which is co-facilitated facilitated by the governments of Namibia and Germany. Professor Marwala was appointed by President Hage Geingob in 2021 to the 8-member Namibia 4IR task force and has made contributions towards the formulation of Namibia's country readiness assessment on 4IR. Stay with us as we...
As a young boy now, I will just prepare them to take over properly.
So our operating unit in Namibia deals with marine biodiversity, and it is together with another unit in Cameroon and another unit in Malawi. It is associated with INRA, the one that is in Ghana. That every time we think of our continent, we only think of natural resources. That's what we need to change. Africa must have technology. We should use our natural resources to form technology, to build companies that are going to take our society much, much more forward. So we would like to bring much more than things that have to do with natural resources. We want to bring things that deals with technology in Southern Africa as an institute, not as a mode. But it's important that we support our work that is happening in our operating unit, and obviously I will be asking Your Excellency to support us in that regard. So 5 institutes that I want to bring into United Nations University based on my 3-pronged strategy: increasing visibility and presence, which is the first one. The United Nations University must be visible and it must be present. Secondly, expanding our teaching, learning, and policy-relevant research. And in this regard, we are working very closely with the mission in New York of Namibia in preparation for the Summit of the Future. Because Namibia and Germany are co-chairs on that. And the third one is expanding to the Global South. And I have to congratulate Your Excellency for the recent discovery of a very important natural resource in Namibia.
The Namibia School Feeding Information Management System has been launched, and we'll be looking at that in Community Talk after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Deputy Minister of Education Faustina Kelly launched the Namibia School Feeding Information Management System that digitalizes the tracking of food dispersed and consumed at schools as part of the Namibia School Feeding Program.
It's almost half of all our schools we are providing, because we are above 800,000 schools and we are talking about 400,000 schools. Ladies and gentlemen, Namibia is a country recognizing the importance of ICT as a tool to development of the country. Equally, ICT has a role to play in education, both directly as subject and indirectly as a tool to assist in educational delivery and management. As a result, the education and training sector, long seen as a torchbearer for capacity development in Namibia, created the ICT policy for education to enhance the use of development of ICT in the delivery and education and training. Thus, NASIS as an appropriate ICT solution is one of the distinct development areas for the use of ICT in education programs that will improve efficiency in the delivery, quality service, related to school feeding program, data management, and information sharing. Director of Ceremonies, I'm informed that NASAS was made possible through the existing partnership between the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture and World Food Program, with technical development and related support from iMarketing consultants. We saw them also. These efforts support and expertise and indeed commendable and appreciated, because digital transformation is an expensive undertaking that requires partners and various stakeholders to collaborate, share resources, and expertise to deliver the true meaning of digital transformation in education and educational programs. Director of Ceremonies, ladies and gentlemen, education is a shared responsibility, and the ministry needs more friends of education and partners, especially from ICT sector, to support our schools with ICT-related equipment and services in order to ensure that the web-based solution, such as NASAS, that we are launching here today is fully utilized, not only utilized, but correctly utilized to enhance the implementation and management of the school feeding programs.
Uranium was Namibia's largest export commodity last month. We'll be heading into that update as we go into economic news after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Uranium was Namibia's largest export commodity last month, accounting for 21.5% of total exports, and was destined for China and Canada. Data released by the Namibia Statistics Agency today showed diamonds were the second biggest export commodity, accounting for 21.1% of total exports. The gems were mainly exported to Botswana. Fish took the third position on the list, contributing 12%, and was mainly destined for Spain, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Let's head into the financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.79 next to the US dollar, with 23.90 Namibian dollars getting you 1 British pound. Gold, copper, platinum, and Brent crude oil all registered upticks, with the most significant upsurge being copper with 1.77% higher. In international news, Ukraine's Zelensky thanks the US for military support on today, the 4th of July. Stay with us.
Ranging from current affairs, community stories, local index remains unchanged while overall index...
Thank you for joining the show that highlights the news making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond.
Always major victorious.
Ukraine's Zelensky thanks the US for military support on the 4th of July. He said that the only best of the brave are able to pass on freedom from generation to generation.
Dear Americans, I congratulate you on the best day that life can bestow on any nation that rose up for freedom. I congratulate you on your Independence Day. Only the brave gain independence, and only the best of the brave are able to pass the freedom from generation to generation. Ukrainian love of freedom, with your support, has ignited a new powerful flame of liberty in our part of Europe, which will not go out and will ensure that tyranny will never again pass through Europe. And therefore, Europe will not need your soldiers' participation in bloody battle for freedom and the Ukrainian dream of living freely, when it is crowned with victory in the brutal and unprovoked war unleashed by Russia, will give fresh energy to the American leadership. Happy 4th of July, America. And please remember that in the coalition of the free and the brave, you can always count on Ukraine as your ally. Slava Ukraini!
Let's head into our weather predictions. In the northern region, the weather conditions are clear throughout the day, with maximum temperatures ranging from 28.5 to 29.2 degrees Celsius and minimum temperatures ranging from 9.4 to 12.5 degrees Celsius. Henties Bay and Swakopmund share a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius. While it looks sunny across the board, it is still very cold in Rehoboth, expecting an 8 degrees Celsius minimum. We'll be swinging over to sports news shortly. Let's have a look at the latest sports news from the Sports Wrap desk.
Good evening and welcome to your Sunset News Sports section. I am Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. African Stars Football Club has announced the release of a number of players in order to make room for new players. The 2022-23 Debmarine Namibia Premiership champions deemed it fit to make sure that they release the players as early as possible. Stars believe this will give the players enough time to find new clubs before the start of the season. Shuana Shasha Tindi, Ratanda Mbaruvara, Yanjamuye Maharero and Hiha Kashivena have been released by the club. The offloaded players experienced little game time under coach Mervyn Bakera and were not often seen playing regular football. Namibian boxers John Paulinus and Charles Shinima will headline the MTC Nesta Sunshine boxing promotion bonanza slated for 12 August at the Windhoek Country Club. Paulinus will defend his WBO title against Patrick Mukala of the Democratic Republic of Congo, while Shinima will trade leather in the main supporting bout. Namibian cyclist Vera Lusa, who took part in the 4-day Engadine bike Giro over the weekend in Celerina, Switzerland, took second position in the race after Adeline Morath. I banked some good climbing efforts at the altitude and I'm really happy about the progress, she said. That brings us to the end of tonight's sports news. Goodbye.
We'll take a short break, and when we return, it will be time for the highlights.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Let's get into the highlights from this evening's broadcast. A Zimbabwean couple who's on trial for the murder of the man's 9-year-old daughter, who allegedly fatally assaulted her and then threw her body in a rubbish bin, appeared in the High Court this morning. Deputy Minister of Education Faustina Kali launched the Namibia School Feeding Information Management System that digitalizes the tracking of food dispersed and consumed at schools as part of the Namibia School Feeding Program. And African Stars Football Club has announced the release of a number of players to make room for new players. The 2022-23 Deb Marine Namibia Premiership champions deemed it fit to make sure that they release the players as early as possible. And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook on all the NMH platforms on weekdays and Sundays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV 285, GoTV channel 25 from 7:30 to 8 p.m. This has been Sunset News. My name is Ashwin Betty. Don't end your day without us.